Well, hello, everybody, on this August 27th, 2024. My name is Larry Jacobs, and we're here with the Pre-K-12 Education Talk Radio today, and an incredible educator is our guest. Thanks very much to my friends over at Discovery Education, where she won the Discovery Education Educator Award. We're talking about a first-year teacher now, I think, going into her second year, McKenna Akane. And McKenna, I hope I pronounced your last name right. If I didn't, you'll let me know in just a second when I bring you on. But it's Akane. She's an amazing teacher, and some people are just born to do it and do it right. And she's one of them. And after 1 year, if I read this correctly, she was already named director of the K-8 STEM project in Alberton, Montana, which I looked on the map today. I didn't know where it was. Okay, and it's western Montana. It must be gorgeous out there. Okay, well, near the Idaho border and all that sort of stuff. And we're going to talk about where it is and what it's like and all that sort of thing with McKenna. About an article she wrote, okay, in EdTech News regarding, East School News, entitled A New Teacher's Perspective, Today's Best Ed Tech Resources, and it's linked here on the website. And you're going to find all kinds of things from this incredible young lady. It's just amazing. I'm going to archive the show over at ace-ed.org. Go over there, check it out, see all the things we're doing for equity and accessibility and all that sort of thing for kids everywhere. We just want every kid to have the best education they can. That's all we do, and we try to find teachers who make that happen. And one of them is McKenna. Again, we're at ace-ed.org. And McKenna, I'm Larry. Good morning.
Hello, Larry. How are you doing?
Well, I'm fine. How's life in Alberton?
It is beautiful out here right now. We're right in that sweet spot where it's not too hot. It hasn't gotten cold yet. Yep. We are right in the middle of the Rocky Mountains, so I couldn't ask for a better place to teach.
Oh, my God. Is that where you're from?
I'm originally from Boise, Idaho, but I have been fly fishing in Montana since I was a little girl. My father is from out in Laurel, which is more middle Montana. But as you said, western Montana and that Idaho border, it is gorgeous out here. Wow.
I was just I live in Maine, and I was just in Manchester, Vermont, 2 states over. That's where the Orvis Company is. Okay, that's where they're headquartered. They have the fly fishing museum and all that. And you're a fly fisher person. A river runs through it, if I may. Gorgeous Montana.
I actually live on that river. Yeah. Where I live is on the Blackfoot River. So yeah. Oh,
must be just beautiful. Now, of course, I've never been there. I thought I lived in a small, out of the way place. I live in Cornish, Maine. But boy, Alberton, Montana is something I had never heard of, and it just must be gorgeous. Tell us about the school district.
I will. And first, I'll take one opportunity. My name is a hard one to pronounce. I get Akane a lot. It is actually a Hawaiian surname. It is pronounced Akane. But, you know, I teach K-8, so I get called a whole lot of names. So Akane works for me. Just want to throw it out there. McKenna Akane.
Beautiful. Someone in your family's from Hawaii, is that correct?
My husband, yes. His family is Hawaiian.
Yeah, they now live in Montana. What a change of scenery and change of weather. That's so interesting.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's an interesting move. Okay, I got to tell you.
Montana draws a lot of people here.
Well, gorgeous place. What can I say? All right? It deserves to draw a lot of people. And, of course, you're close. Idaho's not so bad either, I got to tell you. So,
no, not at all. The northern part of Idaho is gorgeous, yeah.
Well, Coeur d'Alene and all that sort of stuff. It's just amazing. And you've been to a place I've always wanted to go to, and that's Nelson, British Columbia. Have you ever been up there?
I have not, no.
Nelson is supposedly a great, great town. Okay? And it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Spokane.
Okay.
And I know
you're
not next door to Spokane, but you're close enough that I can actually talk to you about it. And it's supposed to be a really beautiful, beautiful place. I was just wondering if you're ever there.
No, I've never been, but in Montana, that would be about a 3-hour drive from where I'm at, and that's not a huge drive in Montana.
No, that's what Montanans do to go to the grocery store.
Yes,
okay, so that'll work out great. And by the way, I live in Maine, which is fairly rural too, so we get it. My friends, I'm from Philadelphia, and my friends always laugh at me because no matter what we want to do, it's 20 minutes away. Okay, and they're used to 2 minutes away. Yeah, then an hour and a half to find a parking spot. Yeah, so you get it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well then you'll relate probably a lot more than you might expect to Alberton then.
Tell us about your school district. Tell us about the town. Tell us about your school. Brag a little. Go ahead.
All right, I would love to. So Alberton has a population of about 500 people. There were more people in my graduating class than in the town of Alberton. And 150 of those 500 people go to school here at Alberton. It is a a TK-12 school.
Wow.
And we have some of the most dedicated educators and really just such a supportive community. It really is very, it's just homey. Everybody is friends. Everybody waves. Everyone's very supportive of the school and its activities. Sure. And likewise, the school is very supportive of the businesses that are in town. Though there may be few, we are very proud of them.
Well, I think it's wonderful. By the way, what's the name of the school?
The school is Alberton School.
Alberton
we are
School.
Actually, we are our own school district too. So Alberton School District number 2. And it was first established in the very early 1900s. I want to say around 1908 was the first school. It did burn down, legend has it. And so, shortly thereafter, the school that stands now has been there since, I want to say, maybe the teens of the 1900s, somewhere in there, maybe around 1912, 1915. And then in the 70s, we added a middle school, high school building. So that is the building that I predominantly teach in. And the fun fact for the high school building is we are the first circular building built in Montana. So something to be proud of.
There you go. To think I'm virtually there. Okay, that's actually amazing. And I must have. You're Alberton School number 2. School
District number 2. I don't know who School District number 1 is.
Yeah,
but we were second.
So you don't know. So number 1, we don't know where it is. But number 2,
no,
Alberton.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because the first school burned down or something, so this is number 2.
And they renumbered us, maybe. I don't know. I should look and see who is number 1.
No, it's okay. I was just curious. Did you go to university in Montana? Is that where you went?
I did, yes. I graduated from the University of Montana's Education Department.
Missoula?
Yes, in Missoula. We are about a 40-minute drive to Missoula.
That's not so bad. Missoula's a pretty cool town.
It is, yes. It is a very vibrant town. The university is great, and it is a great place to be in the summer.
Now, I'm going to read something, McKenna, okay, about you. And then I'm going to ask if you have angel wings and flew down from heaven for the folks in Alberton. Okay. You're going into your second year, right? Teaching, am I correct?
Yes, yep. I am like 5 days into my second year of teaching.
Congratulations, back to school. Okay, you ready? Yes. I want to read this. Okay.
All right.
Mrs. Akane, McKenna. Did I do that right? Akane, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Has developed a proposal for a virtual reality project and curriculum that will truly revolutionize the way students across the country learn and interact with Montana's Indigenous community. Working together with the University of Montana, your alma mater, Blackfoot Communications, and several other local partnerships, McKenna has developed a K-12 project to provide meaningful Indian education for all experiences. Okay? Utilizing high-powered computers, 360-degree cameras, students will reach out to Montana First Nations to record language, cultural traditions, ceremonies, and document tribal history from different nations. In partnership with a VR education company, her students will then create VR lessons and tours and upload them to the company's course offerings. Where other students, what company is that, by the way?
That I'm getting the headsets from, or that I'm creating the virtual environments with?
Yeah, what company is it? Whatever.
So the resource I use for students to create their own virtual reality environments is CoSpaces, and the headsets that I've acquired are Classroom VR headsets, and they are really a wonderful company. They provide headsets with more or less, they're called cubes, but it's something tangible that you can pick up, and it'll show you 3D STL files through your VR headset. They come with curriculum K through 12 that are Common Core aligned to the state that they are purchased through. So
you're amazing. I'm just going to say this
awesome.
a lot of times. You're amazing. Okay, first-year teacher, everybody. The students are going to create VR lessons and tours and upload them to the company's course offerings. What company is that?
So both CoSpaces and Class VR allow you to upload student-made virtual reality environments to their libraries. CoSpaces, you do not have to have an account to view their library, so that is a way for us to share nationally and across the state what students have created. And then Class VR shares it on their platform, which is actually an international company. You do have to have a Class VR set to be able to view that.
Okay, everybody. Is there any wonder why she was named? She's going into second year, K-8 STEM director for the school. Okay, and one of Discovery Education's Educators of the Year. I mean, you're a second year teacher. This is amazing. This is amazing. Okay, have you told University of Montana, your old education department, about this? Where you graduated from?
You know, I'm still in close contact with one of my favorite professors, my math professor, Bonnie Spence. She has been so supportive. She shares it with the university, with the education program. I am also very closely connected to a professor named Michael Cassens. He is an educator in the computer science department, and he also has been a huge help with the establishment of the esports team here at Alberton for the high schoolers.
That's great. That's great. And you're only about 40 minutes, you said, from Missoula.
Yes, we're very close. They're
great.
More than willing to drive out to have their collegiate players come and help our athletes. They've also been very helpful in connecting me with the proper network who sees what I'm doing and supports it.
I love what you're doing, and I'll say it again. I live in Maine, and although I live in southern Maine, which is not as rural, so to speak, but there's a lot of Maine. It's 8 hours north to south. A lot of people don't realize that. It's a big state, okay? And a lot of it is covered with forests and hills and mountains. Mount Katahdin as an example. And there's a lot of small, tiny, rural, and if I may, not out of touch, but trying to be in touch communities, okay? Not unlike what you're doing with Alberton, okay? I'm sure not unlike that at all. Although a lot of these are hours away, like in Montana, from the big colleges, okay? And it's hard. And to teach rural education, okay, to teach in a rural setting, okay, it's not easy. A lot of attention is always given to urban education, which deserves a lot of attention, but not enough attention is given to rural education. Okay,
absolutely.
And we've got to make sure. And my little town of Cornish is 1,200 people. Okay, and we're not that isolated. We're about 45 minutes from Portland. Okay, which is be like 35 minutes from Missoula, I'm sure. Okay, Portland, Maine. Okay, but these kids need to be involved in the world, and they need to see that the world beyond. I think that what you're doing, okay, is so important and just so terrific. I don't know how the hell you're doing it. I got to talk to you about this, okay? You go in, you're a first-year teacher, and let me be blunt, most first-year teachers, as much as I love them for being it, it's hard to know what the hell you're doing, okay? Somehow you stepped into this, okay? But it's not easy to be a teacher, like being a first-year doctor or whatever the case is, okay? And then, look, you're already the K-8 STEM director. Okay.
I mean, yes.
Come on. You know, I mean, and I know it's not a big school district and all that sort of thing, and how'd you step into all this? What was it like the first year, and then to be able to do all this? You're so impressive. I got to tell you, McKenna. Okay.
Well, I got kind of a funny story for you.
Like an Olympic winner around your head. Okay, and you fly up to heaven at night with your little wings. Okay.
Wouldn't that
I don't know
be
where
nice?
they found
I would
you.
sleep so well.
Yeah, I don't know where. I don't know how they found you. They must get down on their hands and knees and look to heaven for having you in the district. I got to tell you, what was it your first year like that you were able to do all this? That's amazing. What are you Are you teaching science? What are you teaching? What grades?
So STEM is anything science, technology, engineering, and math. So I hit standards in all of those areas, and it's kind of it's a process where we build from kindergarten up through middle school, and each year our skills become more independent, our workload becomes larger, and the responsibility of the student really becomes more of the goal. But I will say in my first year of teaching, I was able to meet some pretty amazing people. One of the first professional developments that I was a part of was the Discovery Education professional development.
Oh,
the
nice.
state of
They're
Montana,
yes,
they're amazing. And for a rural school, Discovery Education really is, I mean, every part of their platform is an integral part of how I am able to show my students different career opportunities, virtual field trips to places that they wouldn't have the opportunity to see. And those virtual field trips, some of them have been live, so I was able to have my students speak and interact and ask questions and observe polar bear biologists working in northern Canada.
Geez. Wow.
The other platform that I really like on Discovery Education that I was able to participate in their beta testing phase is now offered to Discovery Education Network users. It's called Career Connect, and you actually recently had the If Then affiliation on your show speaking about Career Connect.
That's
but
right.
It has just, I love that. And I tell everyone, don't just join Discovery Education, be a part of Discovery Education Network and do the Career Connect. I have brought in coders. I have brought in just the first week of school for my VR class. I brought in a very accomplished professional to speak about AI, machine learning, virtual reality, augmented reality, and resources that he was aware of to be able to share with my classroom. And I intend on having him back in the middle and end of this first semester just to kind of see what that class is producing. It's just been great. They've provided me a ton of opportunities, but they've also provided my school and my students with opportunities. And really, that's where my interest sparked from.
I have to say something. As I've talked to first-year teachers, obviously, and I'll say it again, it's not easy to be a teacher, and it's especially not easy to be a first-year teacher. Okay, but to accomplish to figure all this out and accomplish it and actually do this. I mean, I've talked to a zillion teachers. Not many of them say what you tell me about the first week of school and what you're able to do right off the bat. Okay, to me, it's absolutely, it's just amazing. I mean, you really got something here, and which brings me to the question. I want you to talk about the school administration for a second, because they must see something in you. Because most schools are pretty tight on a first-year teacher. Okay, you gotta. I'll say it this way, kind of stick to the rules, stay in step, all that sort of thing, because they want you to get your feet steadily on the ground. I'm going to say this, and it's a whole total compliment. You've been thinking outside the box, okay? And what you're bringing to the party is just absolutely amazing, okay? How in hell did you ever get the administrators to go along with all this? And how did you get them, or how did they get to see you for all the good you could bring to the school? I think it's amazing. They deserve congratulations too. I really do. It's
absolutely
hard. Give them some.
Yes.
Talk about it for a second.
Yes, the school principal here, Chris Whiteman, has been, throughout this entire process, my first year and continuing into this year, so supportive of all of the initiatives that I've brought to him. And I think the key part of why I'm able to gain a little bit of leeway and a little bit of trust with my administrators is I really try to not just come up with an idea, but also come up with a plan of execution. So that I'm not just saying, hey, I really want this.
Tell that to some politicians. Okay.
I know, right?
Instead of opening their mouths, maybe they should come up with a plan too. I love this. You should be the next governor of Montana.
Hey, I'm for it. If I've got your endorsement, I'll do it.
You think I'm kidding, but go ahead. Yeah.
But yeah, just saying, hey, I've got this idea. I think it really has some valuable educational purpose. And here's how I would like to approach it. What do you think? And then it becomes more of a conversation of, oh, I do see how it's valuable, or maybe we should go this direction with it. And so it's been a team effort. It really has. And I really appreciate administration for that.
And
again,
when you went to I got to ask, when you went to them with
Mr.
Whiteman, when you went to Mr. Whiteman with these plans, did his jaws drop open? He goes, oh my God, what have I got here?
Right. I think, his eyes kind of widened, and he did. I think he's very capable of seeing all of the good that can come from emerging technologies. And as you said earlier, rural schools have a really hard time keeping up with these larger urban districts. We just don't have the funding, or we don't have the interest, because, the students have the interest, but it's hard to just, put more on an educator's plate of having to learn something new. I'm an ambitious person just by nature, and I will say I kind of teach with the idea of, if I'm not having a good time, how can I expect my students to be having a good time?
That's the essence of the whole thing. Okay,
yes.
Your personality gets to the kids. If you're miserable, they're going to be miserable. Okay, and if you're happy, they're going to be happy. If you're excited, they're going to be excited. It's unbelievable. Okay, but you talked about the computer science professor over at that you're friends with over at University of Montana in Missoula. Okay, and I'm curious. How you're a young teacher, you're a young woman. You get technology. You understand technology. You bring, if I may, a youthful look. Okay, a youthful effervescence to the school district. Okay, and that really matters, because you're talking about the ed tech stuff. Okay, a lot of teachers don't really. I mean, they all get ed tech, but they've been experienced. They're older than you. Okay, they're like me, as a matter of fact. Okay, they just don't get it all. All right, and you bring all this energy and ideas to them. I think it's just. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, you bring some new stuff in there.
Yeah, and I, as much as I love technology and emerging technologies, I do believe our younger students, when I'm teaching that kindergarten through about third grade age level, I try not to involve too much technology. That's the age I want them to be curious and to tangibly interact with different models and different experiments. And then, not that I take that away in the older grades, but now I want them to be able to have some sort of introduction to technologies that will only improve throughout the coming years. There's, in all of the classes I teach, there are so many job opportunities. And so the goal is to just see my students enjoying the technology that is out there and seeing themselves fit into an emerging occupation, and seeing themselves being, one of the first, a pioneer in augmented reality when they graduate, or to be a part of computer design, or to have some sort of interest in coding and want to create something. So I see it as building, from the bottom up, and encouraging them to be confident in what they're participating in class, and then introducing them to people like Michael Cassens at the University of Montana. And he's just one of many. Yep, he's one of many, but just to introduce them to the university. And being in a rural school, the majority of our town is under the poverty line. And the University of Montana is offering a great scholarship opportunity to Montana residents under the poverty line for a full ride 4-year degree, with stipulations on grades and all of that. But these kids, for the first time, are now realizing, oh my gosh, I can go to college.
I can do this.
I can do this. There are people that want me to do this. Instead of thinking it's an unattainable goal, not only is it a goal, but it's something that adults and educators are pushing them to pursue.
What grades are you teaching? Are you teaching? Are you teaching what? So
I am teaching grades kindergarten through 8th grade, and then I do help with the high school project-based learning class. So anything in the project-based learning class for the high schoolers that I would have a connection towards, I help them. For instance, there is a last year's sophomore, this year junior, who I have been helping through the Civil Air Patrol, which is another organization I mentioned in my article.
That's what we're going to go to next. Yes.
Well, he will be taking his written pilot's license or pilot test to be a private pilot in the upcoming week. And he has already told me about the amazing opportunities that they have provided him. He's already been flying solo and been flying, with an experienced pilot teaching him all of the intricate details of, the tech side of airplanes and how they have developed, and then back to, reading gauges and not having the aid of technology. And so it's been a wonderful organization for him as well. So although I am not currently directly instructing high school, I do try to help them as much as I can.
Like I said, you're just amazing, and I want to hear now your article. Talk about your article. This was in eSchool News, okay?
Yes.
And it's called A New Teacher's Perspective. Okay, today's
Absolutely.
best ed tech resources. I don't know, how the heck did you get it? How did you write an article? You're amazing. You're a first-year teacher. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey.
Again, I think it's just winning the Discovery Education Award has kind of put my name out there in the sense of, what is she doing in her classroom? What resources does she have and know about that we could also benefit from? Did you want me to just do kind of a general overview of the different parts of ed tech?
Sure.
Okay. And I will just let you know, our school bell is going to ring in a second, so I will mute my phone for about 5 seconds just so that you don't have to hear that noise.
Noise
but
is
that's
okay
why I
when it
stopped
comes to
talking
school,
for a
so that's
second.
all right. Good. Yeah.
Okay. So in my article, I predominantly talk about different resources, some of them free, some of them have free options. The first one I mention is AI, and I specifically use ChatGPT. I do pay for ChatGPT 4, and I think it's worth every dollar. I was a part of a fabulous professional development by a man named Jason Neifer, and he is in charge of the Montana Digital Academy. But he was really an insight into the different ways it can be used for both educators and for students. And so I use it for my students as a way of introducing them to something that will inevitably always be around. They will, just like, we never were going to have calculators on us at all times. Well, now I have a computer in my pocket at all times.
Yeah.
And so AI is going to be around. I want my students to know.
There it is.
I missed the mute. Isn't that a pretty bell? We just got a new one.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, I want my students to be able to know how to ethically and effectively use AI. And a lot of that comes down to prompting. And so a lot of what I do teach my students is how to prompt correctly. And a prompt is basically giving a set of guidelines to the AI and how you would like something to be written. So if I have a question, for instance, if I have a student who's struggling with the concept of aerodynamics, I would say, let's go to ChatGPT and let's say, will you explain to me as an 6th grader the properties of aerodynamics and how it relates to airplanes? And then in that sense, the result that they get is much more useful than if they were to just say, what are aerodynamics? So the whole goal with that is for them to be able to use it effectively and ethically. I do always suggest if teachers are a little bit apprehensive, there is a website called Magic School AI, and they do have a student section, and it is pre-prompted. So that is kind of a cheat to be able to use AI without having to really delve into the specifics of how to prompt it.
And you know what you just said is true. I got to say, what you just said is true. A lot of teachers nationally are apprehensive about AI. And you know those stories. It's going to replace us. I don't know what to do. The kids are going to cheat with it. Okay, for some good reasons, like anything new. Okay, you get scared of it, but this is here. And if you use it well, like anything else, okay, that happens like this. Okay, it's there for good, and they need someone like you who's young enough to understand it to make it happen in any given school. I mean that sincerely.
Yes.
Please continue.
Yep.
Okay, we got about 4 or 5 minutes left. Okay, just
I'll try to mention some of the highlights then.
Sure.
So the other thing I would highly recommend to anyone listening is the importance of simulators, both physical and digital, and STEM kits in your classroom. And that's not just if you teach STEM. That's if you're teaching, predominantly math or science, or if you're a K5, K6 teacher. These kits are extremely helpful. And I'm what's called an aerospace education member of the Civil Air Patrol. And by being a part of that, yes, it's a wonderful program. If you go to the Civil Air Patrol website, there's a tab on the side that says Aerospace Educator. It is a $35 fee, but with free renewal. Renewal, it is a nice bell. It's free renewal every year. So it's a one-time $35 fee, but through that you get online resources. You are able to order textual resources, online textual resources, STEM kits. They have such a large array of STEM kits for grades K through 12. I personally have acquired 2 flight simulators with yokes and rudder pedals. I've acquired aeronautical charts. There's a tiny robot called a
Have they
G-bot.
built a statue of you yet in Alberton? Because I think that's the next thing they need to. They need to.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I should look into that.
Really? Right, go ahead. Keep going. It's amazing.
Yeah, so... and before I move on to the next thing, the other really great thing the Civil Air Patrol will do for an aerospace educator is they will take you on what's called a top flight or a teacher orientation program flight. And you will have a very seasoned and experienced pilot take you up in usually a smaller airplane, usually like a Cessna. And they will take you around your local area and show you your school from above. They'll even let you take the controls, which is petrifying your first time, right? You don't want to be in charge of flying an airplane. But it's a wonderful experience. I've actually done it twice. So highly recommend the Civil Air Patrol.
Wow.
I've already talked a bit about Discovery Education, their virtual field trips, their Career Connect guest speakers. They have interactives on their website as well that I use a lot, especially for, somebody's sick, they need to make something up, or somebody's going on vacation. Those come in so handy. And then I guess I'll just end because I know we're coming close to the end here.
We are.
I'll talk a little bit about AR, augmented reality, and virtual reality. And my advice to teachers, because the first thing we always think about as educators is, okay, how much is it going to cost? And I will say I was able to fundraise for MetaQuest 2 headsets. And with those headsets, I was able to find free educational VR experiences off of their library. A few that pop into mind, there's the Martin Luther King interactive. It's called Now is the Time. There's the Anne Frank Annex Tour. They even have like math interactives, so you can involve VR in your math classroom. And then I just took it one step further and said, not only do I want my students to have the opportunity to use VR in the classroom, I think they should be responsible in creating VR, because that really gives them the responsibility of creating not just a fun environment, but something that's educational to others. And I think that's where they're really finding the most value in the lesson.
Well, I got to tell you, we're winding down here, but I could talk to you for hours. I mean, McKenna, you're amazing, and I know. Well, it's been a pleasure on this end. I got to tell you, from one end of the country to the other. I got to tell you, you're just an amazing teacher. You were born to this calling, and Montana's going to know you, okay? And Idaho's going to know you, and you're going to go far in this business. I got to tell you that. Okay, you're one step ahead.
Well, thank you. That means so much.
I mean it. Well, it's true. Okay, so thanks for being here. Thanks for taking time. Okay, and you got a whole day in front of you. Enjoy the kids this year.
Absolutely. I will.
Okay.
It's been a great year so far. Great things will happen. Thank you again for having me on, Larry.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Go be a great teacher today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
McKenna. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. Is she amazing? That's McKenna Akane. Okay, Alberton, Montana. Alberton, Montana. Wow. I got to tell you, unbelievable. Okay, everything's linked on here. Okay, she's amazing. I got to thank Discovery for introducing me to this young lady, the superstar. All right, we're going to archive the show at ace-ed.org. Okay, check it all out. It's all here. And everybody, you too, have a great beginning of the school year. I'll talk to you soon.